My name is Elyse Fahey, and I'm a dancer and choreographer here in Albuquerque. I was raised in a family that really valued the arts. I feel very fortunate in that I was always allowed to explore art. I do remember my first dance class. It was a carpeted studio. There were plastic alligators on the floor that we had to jump over, and that was how we learned how to do leaps. I think it was just like a creative movement class for kids. But I loved it and immediately wanted to go back. And the older I got, I just started taking more and more classes a week. And in all types of styles. It was never just one style. And that continues to be really important to me in terms of my dance practice to this day, is not getting stuck in one style. Daily dancing is really important to my process. I'm not actually super picky in terms of what that looks like. I never know what I'm going to learn or pick up, even if it is a beginner level class, or even if it's a style that's not my favorite. I'll still just go to see what I get out of it. It's important physically, but it's also really important creatively, just to kind of like keep the channels open. And most of my ideas come to me when I'm dancing. In terms of creating a new dance project, that's the research. That and listening to a lot of music. In terms of dance work and choreography, a lot of my stuff is musically motivated or musically driven. So a lot of the time I'll hear a piece of music I've never heard before, and it will make me feel a particular way, or it will cast a really particular image into my mind. And then I feel like that's something that I want to somehow convey to someone else, because it felt like a really big feeling, or it felt like it reminded me of like a big theme. I think it's about trying to figure out a sort of fleeting way to capture a feeling that I felt, and see if I can possibly convey that through the movement quality or the movement vocabulary or the use of the music. Or a lot of the time it's like working with a lighting designer to be like, okay, this is kind of the vibe of this piece, this is sort of the feeling. I think I'm more interested in creating something that people can then make their own experience out of, rather than trying to have a very particular message or stance that I'm telling you, this is what this is, and I hope that you feel this way about it. 2.5 years ago, I made a comedic piece for the first time and performed it. I have always been told by people who are super close to me that I am funny and that my physical comedy is very good. And I think I've always known that about myself to a degree, but that aspect was always something that I kept very private. But a couple of years ago, I got this idea for a piece, and I knew that it was a comedic piece, and I just decided to bite the bullet and make it and produce it and perform it. This one comedic piece has opened up all of these doors, and it's given me a very new and different way to connect more directly with an audience. And it's been really special because it's something that I always knew that I had the capability to do, but I didn't necessarily have the confidence to do it. People have really shown up for my personal efforts to create, high quality experiences, shows, what I produce at my studio. I've felt very, very supported. For the people who have ended up here and have stayed and committed to this place, it's not always easy to produce dance in New Mexico, but I feel incredibly inspired by their commitment to stay here and to try to produce interesting work at a high level in a place like Albuquerque, because it's not Chicago and it's not New York and it's not LA, but I love that it's not trying to be. And I do feel inspired by the people who have just decided that this is going to be their place, and they're not going to compare it negatively to other places, and that this is just going to be where they do their good work. So that's really inspiring to me. There's an Albuquerque culture that values the arts. I really, really feel that. The community here is very hungry for good art. I spent too many years in my 20s waiting for permission to be an artist, permission to be a dancer, permission to be good enough to pursue this or that. So I think being really concrete about your decision to be and also live as an artist across all realms of your life is really big. And it's not only personally affirming, but it also puts the exterior world on notice that this is who you are and this is what you have to share and what you have to offer. For me, that's been a game changer just in terms of how I think about myself and my own identity. Once I got really clear on that, a lot of things started to change in terms of making more connections and more doors opening and more opportunities coming to me. So I would say make a decision for yourself. Don't wait for someone else to give you the go-ahead, because you might be waiting a really long time and we don't have enough time. So if you decide this is something that you want to do and you're super passionate about it, start now with everything you have.